So you want to watch Fate, huh? Well, first you gotta tap in with Stay Night from 06. No. Start with Zero. Nah, actually, just start with the new Fate that just aired. The timeline really don't matter. No. Matter of fact, start with the Grand Order storyline. No, bro. Start with Unlimited Blade Works, bro. Start with Unlimited Blade. Nah, gang, you gotta read the visual novel, bro. It's all about the visual novel. No. Matter of fact, bro. How about you just start with a couple of YouTube videos to introduce you to the Lord? Blah, blah, right? Okay. Look, I'm sure you've seen videos or heard of Fate being this confusing ass thing, and maybe you got too intimidated to start it at all, despite seeing snippets of the new Strange Fate, and you're like, ooh, that's gas. Main character pretty, and she's voiced by Hana Kana, the United States hosting the Holy Grail Award and the World Cup this year. Like, you get it. It's all this shit going on. You want to be involved in it. Well, I'm about to give you the no BS guide of getting into Fate so you can be caught up to enjoy the new Strange Fate with the rest of us. So obviously, first off, we got to address why starting the new Strange Fate without any prior knowledge of Fate is a bad thing. Think about eating some fire ass wings with no sauce. You can do it, but the experience gets worse in like a tad bit. So this is what I'm saying about the new Fate. Like, you could start it without knowing shit about Fate, but the experience, you just not gonna really, it's not gonna hit as much. This analogy works because with the new Fate, it makes references to core Fate lore and characters that you learn about in detail via the old Fate. And then also it just works because, I mean, like, let's be real, chicken wings with sauce is just better, bro, like straight up. Now look, I mean, sure, like, you'll probably get the whole gist of the new Fate just by watching that alone, but wouldn't you rather have the full puzzle solved than just a couple of missing pieces? Another thing here is that there is a prequel movie to this new Fate which you should absolutely watch. That's like the non-negotiable, like, you dead ass cannot skip that. That is direct prequel to this new Strange Fate. But it's not really a long ass movie. You can get through it in like maybe 2 hours, I think. It's chill, okay? And this movie has characters from the Grand Order storyline in it, so that's giving you even more reason. Like, it just starts off rip with characters from previous Fate entries in it, bro. I'm telling you, tap in with that shit, because watching this Strange Fate without watching the Fate first, right, like the OG storyline and shit, it's like watching Boruto before Naruto. You see how much you're gonna miss by doing something like that? Like, you're gonna understand it, right, but you won't have as much of an emotional attachment to certain characters if you do this. You're not gonna know exactly the history of the world and everything like that, because like Fate is something where world building is pretty damn like prevalent. So if you kind of just skip all of that by not watching like the OG series and maybe even some other storylines, then you're gonna be not lost, but you just won't have the full picture. Now, this is your choice versus my opinion on the internet, so you can still do whatever the fuck you want to do, okay? Like, this is just info I'm giving you, but one thing you should do is watch that movie before you do tap in with the Strange Fate anime, okay? Just like, that's for sure. Now, as for the Fate series in general, let's just say you decided, I bet I'll chill, I'll get into Fate, right, and I'll tap in with the prior entries before tapping in with Strange Fate. I'm gonna need you to pull out a pen and paper because this shit gonna be long. I'm just bullshitting with you, but seriously though, it's mad simple, and I do feel that your view on it being complicated, if you ever had that view, it's a little bit misconstrued because of what people say online, and part of that is the Fate community itself. It's sort of an inside joke in the community that the series is this ultra hard thing to get into, so that, along with some YouTube videos you might have seen, as well as the fact that some random pieces of lore are scattered in nowadays what might be called obscure pieces of media, could be the reason you were so lost. But those pieces of lore, them random ass pieces and bits and shit that's scattered throughout, they might be in a game or a magazine or something like that, not absolutely necessary to the main story, okay? Those YouTube videos, they're there to play onto the joke that the community already made inside of itself and get views, of course. And then lastly, the jokes that the community makes, right, the inside shit, like, oh, it's so hard to get into, they're jokes. They are jokes. Keep that shit in mind. So with all that being said, this is how you get into Fate to finally catch up with Strange Fate. We're gonna keep it nice and simple. Start off with the first episode of Unlimited Blade Works from 2014, okay? Now look, this did come out after the OG 2006 Stay Night anime, but it is the prologue to that anime, okay? So that's why you just want to start off with this. So you watch that first, then you can watch Stay Night from 2006, and even that is optional because a lot of people do regard it as a bad adaptation. So if you want to, you could just skip that entirely and go straight to finishing Unlimited Blade Works. But I included it so you just know your options, okay? It's really just personal preference. Now, if you do watch the 2006 adaptation, after finishing that shit, go back and finish Unlimited Blade Works in 2014, okay? So that right there, them two series, Unlimited Blade Works and the 06 adaptation, whatever one you want, that's where you're gonna learn about all the mechanics of the Holy Grail War. That's where you're learning all the core Fate lore, all the characters, etc., the masters, the servants. You get the gist, right? You're gonna know what's going on. You're gonna know the premise of the whole thing. A lot of world building and rules and shit is explained here, okay? So after you finish Unlimited Blade Works, which is just 2 seasons, by the way, you then want to start on the Heaven's Feel movies. It's a trilogy, just 1, 2, 3. bang it out. 3, one of my personal favorite anime movies of all time. That shit was gas. Okay, and that's really it. Like, that's all. So to recap that shit, it's really just episode 1 of Unlimited Blade Works. You can either finish Unlimited Blade Works or do the 06 anime and then finish Unlimited Blade Works. Then you just watch the movie trilogy. That is all, bro. Like, that is literally it, at least for the main storyline of Fate. And I'm keeping this just anime, okay? If you really want to tap in, I would recommend start the visual novel, alright? But like, I'm just trying to keep this simple because a lot of y'all might just be anime only watchers, so I get it, gang. I get it. So after going through the main story, there's a ton of extra storylines that you can jump into if you're really invested in the Fate universe, and the Strange Fate storyline is one of them. That's exactly why a lot of people are over here saying you don't gotta watch Stay Night or any of that shit to start Strange Fate, which is true technically, but once again, you miss a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, a lot of the world building if you just go right to Strange Fate. But anyway, the main extra storyline that people are telling you tap in with after the main Fate Stay Night storyline is going to be Grand Order. Remember earlier how I said there's Grand Order characters in Strange Fate? Exactly. This is where you really might want to tap in. Now, the Grand Order storyline is a mix of anime and the mobile game, so to simplify things, I'm just going to give you guys the anime watch order because you might not want to tap in. It's a gacha game. It might take a minute to progress, or if anything, you could just watch story walkthroughs on YouTube, but like, bro, once again, simplification, okay? First, you want to do Fate Grand Order First Order, then Fate Grand Order Divine Realm of the Round Table, then Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia. Now, it's recommended to watch this after finishing the main storyline once again, so you get the gist of everything, okay? Telling you, that main storyline is going to serve as your anchor when you dive into the Fate universe. You're just going to know the core functions of it all. There's a Reddit post with much more detailed watch order for all of the Fate storylines, which I'll link in the description if you really want to tap into the universe. This video honestly only scratches the surface, though since Fate is a lot of games, anime, novel, there's all types of media around it. At the end of the day, this is just nice. It's a quick, dirty guide to get into the series anime only.